and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Supreme Petrochem Limited Q1 FY24 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touch-tone phone. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anuj Sonpal from Valorum Advisors. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Anuj Sonpal from Valorum Advisors. We represent the investor relations of Supreme Petrochem Limited. On behalf of the company, I'd like to thank you all for participating in the company's earnings call for the first quarter of financial year 2024. Before we begin, let me mention a short cautionary statement. Some of the statements made in today's earnings call may be forward-looking in nature. Such forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties which could cause actual results to differ from those anticipated. Such statements are based on management's beliefs as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to management. Audiences are cautioned not to place any undue reliance on these forward-looking statements in making any investment decisions. The purpose of today's earnings call is purely to educate and bring awareness about the company's fundamental business and financial quarter under review. Let me now introduce you to the management participating with us in today's earnings call and hand it over to them for opening remarks. We firstly have with us Mr. Rakesh Nair, Executive Director and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Dilip Deole, Chief Executive of Finance and Accounts, and Mr. D.N. Mishra, Company Secretary. Without any further delay, I request Mr. Nair to start with his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anuj. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the earnings conference call for the first quarter of financial year 24. In the interest of some of you who are new to the company, let me first start by giving a brief overview of the company. Supreme Petrochem was formed as a joint venture between the Supreme Industries and the Northern Raheja Group. The company is the undisputed leader in polystyrene in India with a market share of over 50%. And SPL is also the largest exporter of polystyrene from India with customers in over now 100 countries around the globe. SPL forayed into expanded polystyrene in 2006 and since then has become the leader with over 50% market share in EPS segment as well. The product range of the company includes general purpose polystyrene and high impact polystyrene, and expandable polystyrene, master batches and compounds, and extruded polystyrene insulation board. Now, giving you the brief overview of the financial performance of the first quarter. The operational income for the quarter was 1,225 crores. The reported EBITDA was approximately around 91 crores and EBITDA margin stands at 7.39%. The net profit after tax was reported at rupees 69 crores while the PAT margin stood at 5.66%. Our turnover and margins were impacted in this quarter due to fall in the prices of styrene monomer, which is our main raw material for the company's products. The fall was by over 22%, which resulted in the destocking, and it also not only impacted margins but also the volumes of the company. Our total sales volumes of the manufactured products though increased by around 9% year-on-year, including the exports, while domestic sales volumes declined by 4% year-on-year due to low offtake by the appliance manufacturers. Lastly, the implementation of our first phase of mass ABS project with a capacity of 70,000 tons per annum is progressing as per schedule and is expected to be commissioned by the third quarter of 2024-25. With this, I open the floor for question and answers session, please.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touch-tone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question comes from the line of Nirav Jimobia from Annual Research. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So, I have a few questions to ask. So, first is on our volumes for PS in first quarter. So, let's say out of our total volumes of 77,000, how much is the volume for PS? And if you can break it down between the specialty grade and commodity grade, so that's one. Second is out of a total turnover of 1,225, which we have reported, how much is the trading turnover? And if you can mention the same figure for last quarter last year. Third question is of the total volume growth of 8.7%, what we have registered this quarter on a YOY basis, how much is the growth of EPS out of this volume growth? And last, if you can quantify the inventory losses because of the steep reduction in the styrene prices this quarter. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Nirav, let me first address the last question of yours.
Yeah.
The styrene prices dropped by almost closer to 25% for some days in between.
Okay.
And the prices, they dropped from almost from $1,100 to $850.
Okay.
By the end of the quarter. Now, as far as the polystyrene is concerned, polystyrene is around of the total value of our 68% turnover is from the polystyrene, and the rest is from the EPS, master batches, compounds, and XPS.
Okay.
Now, in terms of your the growth in the EPS is concerned, EPS market was stagnant as compared to the same quarter last year, because EPS is also impacted by the low offtake by the appliance manufacturers. I can tell you that the appliance lifting by the appliance manufacturers in this quarter as compared to the same quarter last year was down by almost 20%.
Okay.
Okay, so and as far as the trading is concerned, trading is closer to 20%, 21% of our top line.
Got it, sir. You mentioned about the turnover in terms of the polystyrene, which is 68%. If you can tell us about the volume, that let's out of our total volumes, what was the volumes of polystyrene?
I'm sorry, I will not be able to give you the volume breakup of that. The segment-wise volume breakup will not be able to provide you for the various reasons.
Got it. But sir, if you can tell us, let's say out of the 68% turnover from the polystyrene, what was the breakup between the specialty grade and the commodity grade, if you can clarify on the same? Because within those polystyrene also.
No, I'll tell you, within the polystyrene, our breakup of the top line, the value-added grades are roughly closer to 40% only.
Okay. So this is about the total turnover you mentioned, 14%, or of the polystyrene you mentioned?
Of the total volumes.
Okay.
Total volumes you are talking about, 40% of the total volumes is from the value-added grades.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you so much, sir, and I'll join back in the queue if any.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Aditya Ketan from Smith's Institutional. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the opportunity. Sir, my first question was if you can quantify the inventory loss during the quarter. Almost 2% or 3% of EBITDA, if you can quantify it.
Aditya, see, quantifying an inventory loss when the prices are falling and also we are selling and the new material is coming, it's always in the pipeline. It's very difficult to actually arrive at a very correct number. But our estimates are that the inventory loss was to the extent of 90 crores to 100 crores.
90 to 100 crores. Okay. Sir, generally, sir, what I understand, sir, our product mix. So, almost, sir, so we are keeping a raw material inventory of almost 10 to 15 days only. So, even if the prices crash by 20-25%, since our raw material days are very less, so do you think an impact of 90-100 crore is too big considering we are having only raw material inventory days of only 10 or 15? So how this like
15 days is what we have at our plant, but then the inventory is the day I sign a purchase order, that is the commitment is made, and the commitment is made for the material to come because it's all imported material. The shipment takes place, the clearances have to be taken place. So it's a pipeline which always is there. So it's an impact which does not only last for 15 days, but then it is an impact which is going on for almost, if you look at the full cycle, from the date of the purchase of raw material to the arrival of the material, to the processing of the material, stocking of the material, and final the sale. It is a time frame which takes almost 45 to 60 days then. So, and secondly, it is just not the raw material. When the raw material prices fall, even on your finished goods, what you have in stock, the impact comes.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. And sir, since you have started the new facility of polystyrene and EPS, so last quarter I understand because of the appliance players stocking up, the volumes had gone up. But since we had also started the new facility, so volumes from that facility should have actually offsetted the last quarter, like so decline into the appliances. But still, on quarter basis, we are witnessing a decline in volume. So if you can tell us, so what is the utilization levels we had clocked for the new facility of polystyrene and for EPS?
As far as the utilization from the new facility is concerned, it is actually the same complex. It's the new line which was established. Like we had earlier 3 lines of polystyrene, and we had one dedicated line for GPPS, one for high impact, and one was a swing line. Now what we have is these 2 lines for GPPS and 2 lines for HIPS, and it's when you can say that it's for us, whatever line we want to run, depending upon what the demand is in the market. So we can run that plant, and we have run that plant on 100% basis also, but then you have to look at the overall capacity utilization, not the line-wise capacity utilization for us. And as far as we are concerned, we have utilized our polystyrene facility to the extent of in the quarter, it was used to the extent of roughly close to 60%.
60%. Okay. So this decline into the styrene monomer prices, so this is linked to the global chemical prices which are falling, or because there is also a capacity addition, big capacity addition of styrene monomer which is coming up in China. So which is the factor that has led to such steep decline in prices of SM?
See, the steep decline, if you notice that in this quarter, all polymer prices dropped, all building blocks dropped. It is the slow growth in China and the slowdown in Europe which impacted the demand, and with the demand going down, everything fell.
Okay. And sir, just one more point to quantify. Sir, you had mentioned that 40% of the overall volumes is the value-added grades. So, if sir, you can just give us a breakup. So, 40% of this value-added grades, how much margins which so this segment can command, and the remaining 60% which is the commoditized. So, how much margins would that be?
Sorry, I couldn't get your question. Can you repeat that, please?
Sir, onto the volume side, you had stated that, so 40% of the overall volume is from the value-added grades. So what is the margins this 40% segment is commanding, and the remaining 60% which is the commoditized grade? So what are the margins over there?
See, as I can only give you one number, that is that we categorize a grade as value-added grade if that grade commands 25% better margin than my commodity grade. And the my value-added grades command better margins from 25% to 100%. So that is that I can tell you. I can't give you the exact numbers of the margins or the percentages of margins there, please. And I will like to correct myself. Earlier I told you 60% capacity utilization. Sorry, I took something else. It is actually 75% capacity utilization of polystyrene in this quarter, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it from my side. I'll join back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Ajay Sharma from Maybank. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I just wanted to check. Basically, is there a spread you working on a normalized basis between polystyrene and styrene? Like, I guess the global spreads currently is like, actually has fallen to $200. So I'm wondering, where do you see the spreads for the Indian market? Is it any different from the global market, considering the different demand patterns?
Ajay, the base number is the global margins, but then you have premiums when you sell in India in terms of just-in-time supplies or the smaller quantity supplies, as well as the value-added grades we give. This delta of $200 or for GPPS and around $300 for HIPS, which you see, is mainly for the commodity grades, and for the value-added grades, the deltas are better.
Okay, and is there a normalized EBITDA per ton would you expect based on your mix? I guess last quarter Q4 was around 24,000, and I think if I add back the estimated inventory loss, it also comes to around that sort of range. So is that the spread you would target?
The spread, we would like to target that, but then the spreads always are affected, and they get as far as the external forces are concerned, or the external environment is concerned, they also impact the margins. So how the global scenario, because these are all commodity products, except for some of the value-added grades which people will buy from us, or the OEMs will like to buy from us, but then the normal commodity grades can easily be imported into the country as well. So it's the service, it's the technical service which we provide, or the just-in-time supply, or our quality, which also matters. So though we target the numbers which you are talking about, or maybe better than those numbers, but then the margins or the numbers can always get impacted with the external environment.
Sure. And on your volume growth, you were targeting 15%, and as per the last guidance, you had given 15 to 16%.
That's right.
Do you think you can still manage that for this year?
We are trying to do that, but then with the low offtake by the appliance sector in this quarter, and also as we see that in this quarter also the pickup may not be there. So maybe that our volume growth will go down to 12%.
Okay, and roughly now, how much is appliance for you as a percentage?
See, appliances are close to, say, 40-45% for us at the moment, but then the last quarter, the appliances sales were down.
Right. So you still grew 9%, so which sector made up for that?
We, as I said in my opening remark, we lost 4% of the domestic market on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But then we grew in exports. So our exports jumped, and because of the earlier last 2 years, our exports were in a sleeping mode. We were not exporting because we did not have enough capacity, but now we have revived our exports. We have revived our old clients, some of them, and we have restarted our exports. So our exports had picked up in this quarter.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
So that made up for it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Shailesh Raja from BNK Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. Sir, just now you mentioned about the export, the opening remarks as well as in the presentation, that because of good contribution from exports, we have reported positive 9% volume growth in this quarter. So can you please share the volume or revenue mix reported by export business? And also, full year we were guiding around 50K tons in the current year, in FY24. So how easy to achieve that number, and what is our competitive strength in the global market? Could you please talk about that, sir? It would be very helpful.
We have been in the export market. At one point of time, we were exporting almost 1/3 of our volumes in the export market. And last 2-3 years, we were not exporting because the domestic demand was good and we did not have enough capacity to spare for exports market. With our new capacity coming up in the first quarter or the last quarter of last financial year, now we have restarted our exports. And with the new capacity, this was our first quarter. And of our total volumes, almost around, we could export around almost closer to around 16-17% of our volumes we could export in this quarter.
Okay.
And we hope that we will still be able to achieve that the 50,000, what we have earlier given the guidance of. We will be achieving that number of 50,000.
Okay. So what is our strength here, sir, in the global market?
We have a strength in the sense of, one, our product quality is good.
Okay.
And we are able to match the global prices also. And since we have good quality, so we get an edge over others.
Okay, okay.
And we have good customer relationships.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So my second question, in the SPC product vertical, as mentioned in our annual report this year, that in FY24 that we are expecting around 20% volume growth. So what is driving this strong growth? And also in the annual report, you have mentioned about the grades approval from appliance customers for specialty high glass compounds, then the pickup in ABS compounds. So can you please talk about this? Also in the medium to long term, is there plans to add more products in the SPC product vertical? And also, sir, this current year, we didn't talk much about the SMMA product in this annual report. So could you please talk about that also, sir?
The SMMA, I'll tell you about SMMA first. SMMA we did not produce, and SMMA facility was installed when the polystyrene demand in India was less and we had spare capacity available. So we had added facilities into one of our lines, and it was made as a swing line to produce SMMA. But then the SMMA demand in India is very limited. And now with the polystyrene demand increasing, so we are using that capacity, that line more for polystyrene. So SMMA compounds we have started working on, but then we are importing SMMA and doing the compounds now. And as well as you said, the growth in the SPC division by 20% is concerned. That, as you rightly pointed out, is that we are working on the new kinds of compounds and new approvals from the appliance manufacturers. So all that is to take our growth by 20% this year on the compound sector.
Okay. Sir, different grades in new product, or it is entirely new compound we are working, sir?
These are all the new compounds, because every compound has a different recipe. Why you need the appliance manufacturer's approvals. As you create a new product, a new recipe, you need their approval. And that is what will also add to our volume growth.
Okay, okay. Sir, our planned capex for next 2 years is much less than the current cash balance and also expected cash generation over next 2 years. And also our new project gestation time is also long due to environmental approvals and also creating fresh capacities. So other than APS, any other compounds or any other new that SCIN is left out? Some of the peers are making it. Any plans to add any particular component, or we keep adding ABS capacities in phases?
See, we had planned a capex of 1,250 crores in the year 2021 when we started on it. And early this year, we finished our polystyrene and expandable polystyrene expansion. It was a expandable polystyrene phase 1 expansion, and at our Doshi complex as well as at Tamil Nadu complex. And the ABS at our Maharashtra complex is going on. And now we also have in this capex, we have also the phase 2 of expandable polystyrene and addition of compound lines, and as well as a new line for the extruded insulation board. So all these plans are there till the March 2025 is the target for all these plans to be commissioned and completed. And post that, we will be certainly doing some new activities and new projects will come up. But then I can't really give you the details of those at the moment, please.
Okay. So despite high share of value-add mix in the overall revenue, why we face significant downturn in the profitability, sir?
Sorry, what did you say?
No, despite high share of value-add mix, that is around 40% of our total volumes, why we face significant downturn in the profitability?
You see, the base raw material remains the same. It is a margin which is better, but then the prices will go down. You see, if on an X product, the raw material is the same now, but on an X product, if I am earning 5 rupees and on a value-added product, I am earning 7 rupees, fine. But when the prices are going down, so that, and there is styrene is of higher value and the selling prices will go down with the fall in prices. So all that will go down. It's not that just the one product will go down. Eventually everything is from styrene monomer.
Okay.
So the selling prices get impacted.
Okay. So what is the total imports happening in PS and EPS, sir?
In EPS, the imports are very negligible. And as far as the polystyrene is concerned, the total imports in this quarter were, I think, closer to 12 to 13,000 tons, which if I think so, yeah, that is right. That is the number, I think. The 12 to 13,000 is the total imports in this quarter.
Mr. Shailesh Raja, may we request you to please return to the question queue for follow-up questions. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question comes from the line of Vipul Kumar Shah from Sumangal Investments. Please go ahead.
So, hi, thanks for the opportunity, sir. So, when this ABS plant will be completed in March 25, what will be the asset turns for that particular plant?
Asset turn at full capacity would be 2 times.
2 times.
Price, the current selling prices.
And sir, this 1,200 crore capex, it is inclusive of all projects. So how much we have spent and how much is remaining to be spent till March 25?
Till March 2023, we had spent close to 350 odd crores and the balance 900 odd crores is yet to be spent.
Okay.
And so the next year. This year we are planning to spend close to 450 odd crores and the balance will be spent next year.
And likewise for this polystyrene, EPS and XPS projects also, can you indicate asset turns?
See, these asset turns when you're asking, see, these all are related to the raw material prices also, because the top line is all linked to the raw material prices. But then if you look at the today's prices, our EPS, our polystyrene would give us 80,000. Because it was a brownfield project for us, the PS and EPS, they both would give us something around in a year at full capacity an asset turn of close to 5 to 5.5 times.
Okay. And what about XPS and master batches and compounds?
Yeah, same thing you can consider for them as well.
And sir, lastly, so you consider, just for my understanding, EPS and XPS as value-added grades as compared to polystyrene?
XPS is polystyrene, EPS, some grades are, some are not.
Okay, sir. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Aditya Ketan from Smith's Institutional. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the follow-up. Sir, is there any update on our competitor plant of polystyrene which has been closed? So is there any news that so that plant can come on stream over the next 1 to 2 years?
Aditya, I have no news on that because it's a sub judice matter. A matter is in the court and high court right now there. So we have no information on that piece. Because I only know that the recommendation of the high-powered committees were that the plant should not be allowed to operate at the same location. But that it is for the court to take a call. So I have no idea about it, please.
Okay. And so just an idea, sir. So XPS business, how much that would contribute to our total revenue or volumes, if any idea?
Sorry, which one?
XPS business.
Extruded polystyrene or expandable polystyrene?
Polystyrene, sir. Extruded, XPS.
You're talking about insulation board?
Extruded polystyrene, sir. Yes, sir. Insulation segment. Yes, correct.
Okay. So that is around 1.2% of our turnover.
Okay. And sir, with the expansion into this category, we are planning to add 1 lakh meter cube. So post completion of this capacity, this capacity addition and running at full utilization level, how much would this revenue would contribute then?
It will grow to say 3% or so for us because other products will also grow. At the current numbers, it should be closer to 3% plus.
Okay. And sir, update onto the styrene demand globally and the spreads. Now we are witnessing that the global spreads have started to fall. But is there any sense like so the spreads can consolidate or there is further room for this to go down? How are things moving up in global and domestic market?
See, it's making a guess of the global environment is very difficult. As I said, many things are beyond our control. These are the external factors which impact the prices. But then I can only tell you that the current margins which are there, the spread between the styrene and the polystyrene are almost at the pre-COVID levels, the average of the previous many years. So I don't think that they can go down any further.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Gunit Singh from CCIPL. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm sorry in case I missed this earlier in the call. But what is your outlook for FY24 in terms of top line and bottom line?
I can only give you the volume growth we are targeting is 12% plus. So as far as what values it will have, because it all depends upon the price movements happening globally in terms of styrene or raw material concern. And I can't give you any guidance with regard to the bottom line. Sorry.
All right. And in terms of margins, just directionally, do we expect them to sustain at these levels in Q2 and the rest of the year? Or do we expect some improvement from it? Like you mentioned that the spreads have bottomed out and are at pre-COVID levels now. So what are your expectations regarding that?
I only said that the margins are now, they are bottomed down because they are at the pre-COVID levels at the same level, and if you look at the long-term averages also, so the margins or the spreads are almost at the same level. So the scope of these to go down further is limited. Upside depends upon the demand growth globally, and if that happens, then certainly there is an upside available.
All right, that's all from my side. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Vipul Kumar Shah from Sumangal Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Will it be possible to break the sales between all the four products, polystyrene, EPS, XPS, and master batches and compounds?
Sorry, break into what?
Means revenue-wise of each segment?
Yeah, I can tell you that the manufactured products are polystyrene is 2/3 of our revenue, and expandable polystyrene is 1/4 of our revenue, and SPC and XPS are the balance part for us.
Sorry, would you repeat the last sentence, sir, please?
I said for the SPC and the XPS, the balance is these two products. 2/3 is polystyrene, 1/4 is EPS, and the balance is, which is say 1/10 of the revenue, is SPC and XPS.
Okay, and margin profile should remain same for all products?
No, margin profile changes. Margin profile changes for when I say value-added grades, they are part of the polystyrene also, they are part of EPS, and SPC and XPS are certainly value-added grades for us. So the margin profile changes even within the same product line, which is the same vertical. For each grade, the margin profile changes. There are commodity grades, there are value-added grades. In value-added grades also, there are some grades which are of, they give us higher margins to us.
So overall, 40% is our value-added grades, right? If you, I think,
put together, of all products put together, we consider 40% of our product range is value-added now.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question comes on the line of Nirav Jimobia from Annual Research. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity again. So, one of the statements in the annual report we have alluded is that the newer grades, what we manufacture and those we intend to manufacture from the appliances, for the appliance manufacturers, where they are aspiring to be the global suppliers of this product. So just wanted to understand, like we are already at 75% capacity utilization for polystyrene. So presuming that the remaining 25% whenever we will utilize, what could be the share of value-added grades out of this? Because so why I ask this question is just wanted to understand your thought process is that whether there is a further scope of improving our value-added grades, or if you can let us know that whenever we will sell the full volumes of PS and EPS and rest of the compounds and XPC, what could be the share of our value-added grade, which is currently 40%?
We are working towards, we want to increase our value-added grades share, but then it also depends upon the acceptability of the newer grades by particularly of the SPC segment by the appliance manufacturers, the new compounds particularly, and it takes time to increase that. It is not that getting the approvals itself takes some time, and developing a new grade, testing it, and seeking approvals. So the time frame to give when the market share or our share of the total value-added grades will go up is very difficult. But yes, we are always striving to increase the same.
Correct. Because, sir, what we also find is that those appliance manufacturers, if they want to be the global suppliers from here, those demand for those extra grades would go up. Though the
capacity has also gone up. So when the 25% you say what we have extra capacity today, our utilization was 75 in the last quarter. So their demand can be met out of that 25, 40% will also be their demand then. So with our increased utilization, the overall percentage remaining the same also will still increase in absolute terms, the value-added grades.
Correct. Got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
you. Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Divyam from Ramshila. Please go ahead.
Namaste.
Namaste. Hello?
Hello?
Mr.
Can you listen me?
Your line has been unmuted. Please go ahead with your question.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
I want to know what is the contribution from your sister concern in the sales?
Come again, sorry. You want to know the contribution from?
Your sister concerns, Supreme Industries. How much is paid to your sister concern, sir?
Also, I couldn't get you. What has this got to do the contribution?
Your sales contribution from your sister concern, sir.
Sales, we hardly sell any quantities to our sister concern. Of our total sales revenue, maybe 1% to 1.5% is what we sell to them.
Okay. That's what I wanted to ask. Thank you. Hello. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Mihir Damania from Ambit Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to ask one question. How do you define value-added grades internally?
Value-added grade for us is a grade in which our margin is better by 25% or more as compared to my normal grade. If my normal grade is earning X, and in a value-added grade, if I earn 1.25X, then I consider it is a value-added grade for me. And it can be 1.25, it can be 1.5, but it has to be more than 25% of the normal margin.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Aditya Ketan from Smith's Institutional. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the follow-up again. Sir, you had mentioned earlier that exports volume is almost 16 to 17% of overall volumes. Sir, in terms of the revenue share, so over the last 2 to 3 years, it has been only 6 to 8% volumes. So this has gone up quite sharply in this quarter, or what has actually happened?
As I said in the beginning itself, and we have said in the last quarter presentation also, that now with the capacity available with us, we have started refocusing on the exports, which in the last 2-3 years we were not able to do because of the constraints on the capacity front. So if you go to say 18-19 or 16-17 or 17-18 volumes, you will find that we were doing almost 25 to 30% exports then. So now with the new capacity available to us, we are refocusing on the exports. And also I said in my opening remarks that the domestic sales were down by 4%, but the overall volumes had grown by 9%. So this has come from the exports only.
Okay, so sir, on to the exports revenue, now we are back to around 15 to 20% run rate of.
So this quarter we did around 15% or so. So let's hope the whole year, as I said, our guidance for the whole year volume growth as far as exports are concerned is that we hope to do close to 50,000 tons of exports this year.
Got it. Sir, just a question on to the inventory loss again. Sir, this quarter you stated that so 90 to 100 crore is the impact and our EBITDA is almost 90 crore for this quarter. So considering, sir, if the prices remain at this level of raw materials and your polystyrene, so next quarter there shouldn't be any sort of inventory loss, and considering the volume growth also from the newly expanded capacity, so it seems your margins of 7% should go to around 14-15% in the coming quarter. Is this a fair assumption, sir?
On paper, yes, it is a fair assumption, but then all also depends upon the demand cycle in the country and what happens in the coming months with regard to the external factors.
Okay.
So sir, I can't make any guess on that.
Okay, sir, is there any way like which a company can protect itself from such a huge inventory losses? Because sir, our EBITDA is almost 90 crore and our inventory loss is almost 90 to 100 crore. So almost, is there any way which a company can plan to reduce its inventory losses if the prices of raw materials crash by 20%?
We know that how the pricing of styrene happens, what procurement we do, all that, but still, this is a normal thing which will always happen when the prices sharply fall. This will always happen, and unless there is some other protection mechanism provided by the government or anybody, it's very difficult because it's a commodity product, globally importable, and the trade happens globally.
Okay. And sir, on that there is no anti-dumping duty protection on polystyrene as well as on styrene monomer.
No, there is no anti-dumping duty. There is no manufacturer of styrene monomer in India, so there is no question of anti-dumping duty on styrene monomer. On polystyrene, we had made an application and which was cleared by the DGTR, but however, the Ministry of Finance in their wisdom had not approved the same.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from the line of Rohit Ori from Progressive Shares. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Two questions. We've been talking about these external factors and external environment, which brings to the point that there could be some issues with the demand. Can you take us through the demand scenario in terms of the OEMs just before the onset of the festive season? Do you think, or are there any talks or discussions to see the volume going up?
As I said, this quarter, the OEM sale was down by 20% as compared to the last quarter. The year-on-year basis, not the last quarter, but on the previous year quarter. And generally, the July-August months are lean months. And they are the months in which because of the rains and all that, the sales are generally weaker as compared to the other months. So it's very difficult right now to project the OEM sales for the third quarter.
Okay. Okay. And the second question is related to the freight cost, which could be another external factor. Are you comfortable with the current rates, and what sort of crude oil prices are you comfortable with if we try to go into the manufacturing and then, the correlation between crude oil and styrene prices?
There is no direct correlation between the crude and styrene monomer. The derivative of crude, benzene, is a major component of styrene monomer. The other component is ethylene. So there is actually no direct relation. It is all between the benzene and ethylene, which then comes the styrene monomer, and depends upon the availability of benzene, which is the major raw material for styrene then. That is the way it is.
And the freight cost and expenses?
Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
The freight cost and freight expenses in the current scenario?
Freight costs have, for the containerized cargo, they are now normal, which they were very high in the year 21-22. They have all become normal now.
Okay. Okay, sir. These are the two questions. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants that you may press star and 1 to ask questions. As there are no further questions, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Rakesh Nair from Supreme Petrochem Limited for closing comments.
Thank you, gentlemen, for participating in the earnings call. I hope we have been able to answer your questions satisfactorily. If you have any further questions or would like to know more about the company, please reach out to our investor relations managers at Velaram Advisors. Thank you.
On behalf of Supreme Petrochem Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
Please subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss another update.